আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি নির্বাচনী সংলাপে। আপনারা জানেন এই অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা কথা বলি বিভিন্ন বিশ্লেষক, প্রার্থী আপনাদের জানাই আসন্ন কানাডা জাতীয় নির্বাচনের খুঁটিনাটি কি হচ্ছে, কি পাচ্ছি, কি প্রত্যাশা আমাদের। আজ আমাদের স্টুডিওতে উপস্থিত আছেন ক্ষমতাসীন লিবারেল পার্টির স্কারবোরো সেন্টারের এমপি এবং বর্তমানের এই জাতীয় নির্বাচনের এমপি পদপ্রার্থী সালমা জাহিদের সাথে। তার সঙ্গে আমরা নির্বাচনে তার দলের প্রস্তুতি এবং আনুষঙ্গিক আরও বিষয় নিয়ে কথা বলবো। ওয়েলকাম টু আওয়ার স্টুডিও, সালমা জাহিদ।
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks a lot, Asma. Thanks for having me here.
I know the time is running very fast, but still, thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
My pleasure.
How are you doing?
I am good. Hope everything is okay with you too.
Yes, thank you. I was wondering, I know that the pattern of our program is to let them know why this election, how it happening, what are we expecting, what are we going to gain. So if I ask you at the beginning, why is this election? What would you say?
I think it is really an important election, and it will be an important election in the history of Canada. So back in 2019, when we got the mandate and we formed the government, when we got the confidence of the people of Canada, no one knew that we will be hit by the pandemic in few months. And since the government was formed in November 2019, just after a few months in March, we all had to go into lockdowns with the first wave of the COVID-19. And our government did its best to make sure that we provide support to all the families and all the businesses. Programs were created very quickly in a short period of time, and I'm thankful to all the government officials and the bureaucrats who worked day and night to make sure that the programs were rolled out for the families and for the businesses ASAP. So we introduced program like SERP, which helped over 9 million Canadians to put food on the table and not to face evictions when they lost their jobs because of the lockdowns. We provided support to the businesses, and when I talk to the businesses in my riding, they tell me that without those supports, they would not have been able to keep it running. So we provided wage subsidy, rent subsidy, we provided business loans to the small businesses so that they can get their operating expenses going and keep their doors open. So, and we made sure that we have enough vaccines in Canada so that all the eligible Canadians can get the vaccine. I'm proud to say that now, where we are today, we have come a long way. And if you compare the vaccination rates in regards to the percentage of the population who has been vaccinated, Canada is among the top among the G7 and G20 countries. Almost 80% people have at least received first vaccine, and close to 80 are double vaccinated. So now, as the economy is opening and we are trying to get through through the end of the pandemic, it's not over as yet.
It is the fourth stage.
Yes, so it is really very important that Canadians have their say now, that what type of a country we want to build back, what are the things they are looking in, that what should be included in rebuilding back the Canada after this pandemic. So that's why election was important to have it now. Time is now. As more people are getting vaccinated, economy is opening, people are going back to work. Many people will be going back to work after the Labor Day weekend. They have been working from home. It is important that they have their say in what type of Canada they want. We have launched our platform, and we are trying to introduce a $10 a day daycare so that the woman can get back to work. I am the member, before the parliament was dissolved, I was the member of the Standing Committee of Citizenship and Immigration. And in the last few months, I have heard it very clearly from the experts that for the economic recovery of after this pandemic, it cannot happen without a she recovery. We have seen that the women have been impacted adversely in this pandemic because they had a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders. Their kids were working from home. They had to make sure that everyone kept on working. They, as you know, in our culture, in our communities, there are a lot of intergenerational homes. I represent a riding where there are 3-generation houses, and many women had the responsibility of their parents for their in-laws to take care. So it is really very important that we introduce affordable childcare. It will be a game changer, and the Conservatives want to scrap it. We are trying to make sure that housing, which is one of the human rights for every individual has the right to have a good place to call home.
Is it possible that your party leader, Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister, is saying that everybody will have the right to have an affordable house? Do you think it's possible in terms of the
yeah, we are
trying
to introduce mayors. So we were allowing the first-time home buyers, the young people, to save up to $40,000 in a tax-free account to put towards as the down payment.
What about the house rent or even the mortgage?
Yeah, so like that will, like if they can put save some money in the tax-free saving accounts, 40,000, that will lower their mortgage. We are trying to control this blind bidding and the Bill of Right, like allowing them to have the right to have the inspection done, because right now without, like, there's a lot of bidding happening on the houses, so the prices go up. So I think that will definitely control the housing market. And in addition to these mayors, we will be investing into, we have been investing into affordable housing, and in the next 4 years 1.4 million houses will be either constructed or repaired, so to make sure that there is enough housing available. In my own riding at 7 Glamorgan, we have invested a project under the rapid housing, and 57 units are being coming up there. So we provided back in 2019 $1.3 billion to Toronto Community Housing to repair their existing TCHC units. So all these investments will allow people to have more housing units.
Okay. Sounds good, but you're talking about the vaccine issue. The pandemic hasn't gone yet, so it might come in a variant way, who knows? And we are in the 4th stage. I was wondering that it was not safe for us that Canada is not a producing country, a vaccine producing country. How could you think that this thing we can feel safe that yes, Canada is producing the vaccine?
So the Conservatives took away the Canada's ability to produce vaccine, and that's why now when this pandemic was hit, we had to procure vaccines from out of Canada. And we had agreements with a very diverse portfolio of the vaccines. So for Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, we secured a very diverse, and we have enough vaccines for every eligible Canadian to have a vaccine.
Yeah, but dependency.
Yes. So now I think people might need, after the second, they might need a booster shot. So we have entered into agreement with Moderna to to have the ability to produce vaccines here in Canada. See, pandemic is not over as yet.
Yeah,
so that's why
saying.
Health and safety of the Canadians is really very important. Our top priority is to make sure that the health and safety of the Canadians is looked after. That's why we are saying that in order to travel by air or by train or by ship, you need a proof of vaccination. And only those Canadians would be allowed to travel, those who have been fully vaccinated, because we don't want to put the health and safety of the individuals at risk. We don't want to put the health of our kids, because children under 12 have not received vaccine.
But in this regard, there are a lot of protests going on.
Yeah, so some people don't believe, but I tell you one thing, the only way out of this pandemic is, and we can only get back to a normal life once everyone is vaccinated. So I would encourage everyone.
Why this government message is not reaching people? Why are they have
the message is going out? We are trying to, like the local hospitals, the community leaders are trying to get this message out, and we have done a lot of outreach. I myself, as and when the different age groups became eligible, I've been doing a voice drop to all my constituents saying, it's your time to get your vaccine. I got vaccine immediately. My time came. I got my first dose in April and my second dose in June. Myself, my husband, both my sons, we are all fully vaccinated because I know that that's the only way to get back to our normal life. We have done a lot of progress, like coming to like that 80% of Canadians are vaccinated. We cannot put this progress back because if conservatives come in power, they will not ask for proof of vaccinations for getting onto air, or like they are not even asking all their candidates to be fully vaccinated who are knocking doors. So I think it is really very important that we elect a Liberal government on September 20th so that we can get through this pandemic, make sure everyone's health and safety is protected, and move forward for everyone.
Yeah, but during this propaganda of the election, everybody is busy with their campaign and all that. Do you think the campaign of vaccination is still going on simultaneously?
Yeah, so we have enough vaccines in Canada, and all the hospitals and all those health units and pharmacies, they have the vaccines available. They are trying to promote to make sure that everyone comes and gets a vaccine. So whatever as an elected representative I can do through my social media, talking to people, I encourage everyone to get a vaccine.
That's good, but it's very important.
Yeah.
Okay, the first debate has just begun. We saw that, and after that, the rating of the parties has changed a lot. What did you say? Because we saw
the first English debate will be happening on September 9th. The first,
I'm talking about the
French
first
debate.
one.
Yeah, French debate happened last week. So, see, I tell you one thing. I don't believe in these polls, and I don't look at these polls. For me, the only poll is September 20th. When people go out and vote, and that's what myself and my team are working towards. We are knocking doors, we are making phone calls, we are putting up signs to make sure that we can get the message to each and every individual living in our riding of Scarborough Centre about information about the work I have done and our government has done in the last 5.5, 6 years, and what work needs to be done going forward.
That's fine, but critics are saying that this is really not the proper time when the national and international issues are quite burning. For an example, September is a very busy month for school, for the international students are coming, they're accommodating themselves, a lot of things, you know, and the pandemic, of course. So the extra money which is going for the propaganda or the election campaign, how would you say, do you think it's really fair?
See, as I told you, that as more and more Canadians are being vaccinated and we are trying to get back to our normal life, I think pandemic has changed our lives in different ways. Okay, who could have ever thought that we would not be able to meet our parents or grandparents, or we will not be able to host guests on Eid, winter holidays, summer holidays, and or like have barbecue parties in our backyards. Who ever thought? I have not gone through this. I never even heard from my parents of something like this. It has really changed the way we live, the way the things happen. So as we move forward, it is really very important that Canadians have their say. They provide a mandate to whatever government they want, what type of a government they want, what type of programs they want moving forward. So this is the right time for the Canadians to come out and show through their vote that what type of a government they want, what type of a Canada they want. Whether they want to move forward for our seniors, for our hardworking families, for the or we roll back all the progress which we have done in this pandemic.
And in these circumstances, everybody is quite surprised. So, do you think you and your party is getting as much time, or you and your party were quite ready, I would say? But what happened to the other parties? Don't you think that they're complaining, which has some basis on it?
See, I think in a minority government, because the mandate which we got in 2019, a minority government was formed. In a minority government, you never know when there will be a no confidence motion or when we will be heading to polls. So I think in a minority government, every party and all these who want to be candidates, all the incumbents have to be ready anytime. In a majority, in a fixed date election, you know that the election is going to happen after 4 years, but in a minority government, elections can happen at any time. And the average age of a minority, if you go
in
back,
a normal situation of time, not based on a pandemic situation.
see, in a minority, like you have seen that in the middle of the first, second, third wave, elections have happened in many provinces of this country. And Elections Canada has said that they are in a position to hold a safe election.
Right.
So I think in a minority government, no one can say that I was not ready or I had no clue that the election will happen, because in that, and the average age of a minority government is usually like 18 to 24 months.
So in your rides, Scarborough Centre, how would you find that, do you think that everybody, all the voters are really enthusiastic the way they show their enthusiasm before? For
I have been,
election?
since the election has been announced, I've been knocking doors every day. I've been meeting and we have been having conversations about the issues which are important to them. And I've been having their input on what type of programs and what things are they looking to move forward.
What do you think that will change or you will improve in your ride when you will be elected, obviously?
See, we have done a lot of work in the last 6 years. I have brought important investments into my riding. One of the biggest investment is of $2.26 billion in a Scarborough Transit. The blower line is being extended. The shovels are already in the ground, being extended from Kennedy Station up to Shepherd Station, and my riding will have 2 stations out of the 3 new stations, one at just at the corner of McCavan and Lawrence, just across from the hospital, and the other one is Scarborough Town Centre, and the third one will be at Shepherd and McCavan. I think people of Scarborough have been ignored a lot, and since amalgamation, and they need a better transit. And since I was elected in 2015, I've been advocating for that. I've been able to bring a lot of youth jobs through Canada Summer Job Program. This summer, $2 million came to my riding to different organizations to hire youth. Over 200 kids got the opportunity to work. And we have done a lot of work to tackle hate. I know, like you must have seen in the last few months, hate has been on increase. We have seen many incidents of Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-black racism. So we have invested through our anti-racism strategy to fight all forms of racism. We have to build a Canada which is inclusive of everyone. Diversity is one of our biggest strengths, and it is really very important that we build a Canada that no one is left behind. If a woman of color can be a member of parliament, I immigrated here 22 years ago. And I think that speaks of the opportunities which are available in this country, and we have to make sure that opportunities are available to our next generations also.
You are working your gender equality and women empowerment. How do you feel? You must have noticed the news in Afghanistan that the new Taliban regime who is forming the government, there is no woman. Some women are naturally, I saw that they're protesting. So how do you feel the Southeast Asia or in Afghanistan or in Pakistan, how the women's life are going on now?
See, I think we have to make sure that we raise the issues about gender equality and providing opportunities to women. And I am proud that our Prime Minister, Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, is a strong advocate of gender equality. Back in 2015, it was first time in the history of Canada that we had a gender balanced cabinet. And through our international feminist policy, we have invested into projects across the world, into women education, girls education, women health. So it is really very important that we continue raising these concerns at the national level, at the international level. Because until or unless women are provided better opportunities, we can't really succeed. I heard it very clearly in my committee at the Status of Women from the experts that no recovery in Canada is possible from the pandemic until there is a she recovery. So that's why I am a strong advocate of this $10 a day daycare program, because I think that will be a game changer for our economy, game changer for many women. When I came to Canada, I didn't work for the first 4 years and I spent time with my kids because daycare was so expensive that if I would have put 2 kids in a daycare, I would have had to give more than what I was earning. So I think, so 4 years I was at home and I was not able to provide, be able to part of the economic development because I spent that time with the kids at home. I think it was a good decision, and I was able to spend some time with my boys and help them groom into better human beings, better individuals, and help them succeed at school. So, but I think it is really very important that we bring in programs like $10 a day daycare. We invest into gender-based violence, domestic violence. We have invested a lot and we will continue doing that.
Ms. Salma, tell me something about your fight in life. Like 2018 was a very crucial time for you. How did you overcome this crisis and how are you actually doing now?
With your best wishes and good prayers of I have been in remission, touchwood, since 2018. Yeah, I was diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma in February 2018, and I had to go through very extensive chemo. So until June, but since June of 2018, I've been in remission. I know it was a very difficult time in my life. I think the most difficult time, and being a mother, thinking about, God forbid, something happens. What will happen with the family and all that. So, but I was very positive, and I think God gave me a new life, and that's why I say that I think I need to continue my work with even more motivation and more commitment to serve the people of Scarborough Centre. Maybe I was given a new life by God to help the people who need a little extra help. So I'm more committed and more motivated to work harder since after that.
So you actually are a huge role model for us, that with your dignity, with your mental support, I think everybody can get very much encouraged. You are working for gender balance and diverse family. Tell us about something.
I am very proud to represent a very diverse community of Scarborough Centre in Ottawa, and people from all parts of the world have called Scarborough Centre as their home. I am an immigrant myself who came to Canada in search of a better future for my next generation, for my 2 boys. I have a 23 and a 21-year-old, and mashallah, elder one has just graduated from university. The younger one will be going to 3rd year at McMaster. He's doing mechanical engineering. So we came here in search of a better future, and I see many families. When I talk to families, I think something which is very common and among all of us, and what brings us together, is that we want to build a better future for our next generations. And that's, I think, which brings us with strong bonding, regardless of from where we came, what is the religion we practice. Something common is this. So that's why I have formed a Scarborough Centre Multi-Faith Council in my riding to bring people from different religions, ethnicities together under one umbrella. And we do a lot of multicultural events, hosting an iftar at a church or hosting a Christmas dinner at a mosque, so that people learn about each other. I want to build a more inclusive community where people learn about each other. There should not be any apprehensions. See, we have seen that the hate has increased in Canada. And during this pandemic, with everyone being in lockdowns, I have seen that a lot of mental health issues, frustration is happening. And we saw in June that we lost 4 innocent lives in London just because one young person, 22-year-old, was filled with so much hate. So I think we have to overcome these barriers, these walls of hate which we have erected around us. We have to break these barriers. And in order to do that, we have to learn about our friends, about our neighbors. So let's build those bridges and bring everyone together. Whether it is Islamophobia or anti-Semitism, we have to get over it.
What about the gun violence?
Yeah, gun violence is really I am a very strong advocate that we should ban handguns. And I'm proud that my good friend and colleague, Honorable Bill Blair, has pulled a ban on many assault rifles which were used in the Quebec mosque shooting or Polytechnic incident. But the conservatives want to get out of it. We have to get guns out of the hands of our young generation.
What do you think, why people are so getting agitated, aggressive and using weapons? How do you think that it can be solved? How?
See, I think it is really very important. I have seen a lot of youth, a lot of mothers have lost their kids, young kids, to hate and crime.
Innocent.
Yes, gun,
Going
crime. So it is important that we get the guns out of the streets, out of the hands of our young generation. And we have invested into programs to help youth be involved in some programs where either like it is providing them job opportunities or providing them some extracurricular activities so that they are engaged in programs which can help them to get their footsteps into their careers.
Yeah, it's very important.
We have an excellent program of the federal government's Canada Summer Job Programs. When we came into power in 2015, and if you compare it now, we have like almost increased it by 4 times.
But the violence and killing is not under control.
Yes, I know we have to do more work on that, and I am a strong advocate that we should ban handguns. I know the City of Toronto, the mayor, we would work with the municipalities and with the provinces to make sure that those municipalities who want to put a ban on the handguns, they do that. And we will keep on investing into multicultural organizations, not-for-profit organizations, into our religious institutions by providing them grants and funding to make their religious institutions safe, to help them to build the capacity to provide better opportunities to our young generation so that they are involved in some other programs. Like I gave you an example, Canada Summer Jobs is an excellent program.
And I think media awareness is very important as well. So it's really important.
We have to take strong measures in regards to this controlling the crime. And we have invested a lot into RCMP to provide them the capacity to do that.
Yeah, like I live in Scarborough. Every evening or night especially, you heard the police car or something going on, and the news also becomes scared.
No, I think it's important that we invest into programs to provide our youth with some opportunities in life.
And how do you think the Asian, the immigrant woman, how they are coping up with their job, their struggle, their life? And how do you think you can motivate them to politics, which is an important component as well?
Yeah, I think all the communities should be involved in this political arena. We should not just be think that okay, like this is not for us. I think Canada is a very diverse country, and we have people from different parts of the world, different ethnicities. So it is important that we see people like us in the House of Commons, in Queen's Park, in Toronto City Hall. Whatever the level of the government is, we need to see people from different communities there. Because if I'm like a Muslim sitting in the House of Commons, sitting in my caucus, I can present those views of that community in a better way rather than someone else. I chair Canada-Palestine Parliamentary Friendship Group, and I rallied like 24 MPs and we wrote a letter when the escalations happened in Palestine back in May during Ramadan. So we called on the government to take stronger action against the violation of human rights and make sure that these things don't escalate there in Palestine. I have took a petition in regards to the situation with the Rohingyas in Myanmar. So I have raised the issues which are important to the Muslim community. And I think we brought a motion 103 to study all forms of racisms, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-black racism. So it is important. I was after the death of the 4 innocent people in London, I have advocated for having a national summit on Islamophobia, and we had that in July. So grassroots people were able to provide their input into that. And now we will be going through the recommendations which were provided. We have to overcome this, that anyone feels unsafe or they don't feel safe walking in their neighborhoods wearing their traditional dresses or hijab, or a young girl faces scared that she should not get into a TTC because she is wearing a hijab. Someone will say that. We have to get over this. We have to build a more inclusive Canada.
If the ruling party, your party, God forbid, is not coming to power next, what is your plan to do individually, or
I don't want to believe that about the conversations and which I am having at doors, people are really appreciative of the work which the government has done in the last 6 years, and especially during this pandemic, because many people tell me that if they would have not got help through SERB or either a business in their businesses, some support, they would have faced evictions and they would not have been able to provide food to their families. I think people are excited about building a more inclusive, better Canada for everyone, and the discussions which we are having about what we are proposing, what we have proposed in our platform, people are very enthusiastic, and I am sure that on September 20th, we will elect a majority Liberal government to deliver for Canadians.
I can see that, and I see the same voice that your leader Justin Trudeau has just said. He was asked the same question and he said, I will fight for the right of my Canadians.
Yes. I will continue fighting for my constituents.
I wish you all the
best. I will
best.
continue to reach as many as possible in the next 16 days to make sure that we get the message across.
At the end, I would like to give you the floor to say a few words to your audience to vote you.
Thank you, Asma. Thanks for having me, and thanks for having these important discussions. I think all Canadians are having these discussions at their dinner tables to see what type of a country we need to build back after this pandemic. And now as things have opened and people are meeting some of their relatives or hosting at this Labor Day, once kids are going back to school, people are hosting some barbecues. I know they are having these discussions, and I am trying to reach as many doors as possible to get the message about the work which I have done in this riding, specifically for Scarborough Centre, and what the work our government has done for the families, for the hardworking Canadians, and most importantly, as this COVID-19 is on everyone's mind, to provide support to be at the back of the Canadians. And my message to everyone is, please have a look at the platforms of all the parties, be involved, come out and vote, because the problem which I see is many of our people really don't go out and vote. So my request to everyone is that please go out and vote for a progressive government who can build a Canada for everyone, who can provide support to the families, have programs like affordable childcare, can increase the per hour wages of our PSWs who are taking care of our parents and grandparents. We will be working very closely with the provinces to make sure that we have better control measures at long-term cares, and we will work hard to make sure that health and safety remains as one of our biggest priority, and more Canadians can get vaccinated and we can get through the finish line of COVID. So please come out, on September 20th. My team is really working very hard to make sure that we knock each and every door. We have knocked the riding once, we are knocking it again to get to those people who were not at home in the first round. We are making phone calls, we are putting up signs. So if you need a lawn sign, please call my office at 416-479-4150. Show your support and come out and vote in the advance polls, which are happening on September 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. And if you don't vote on these advance polls, come out and support. Vote on September 20th.
Thank you. Wishing all the very best and hope for the best.
Thank you, Asma.
Thank you, Salma
Thank you. Allah
Zahid.
Hafiz.
আমরা কথা বলছিলাম স্কারবোরো সেন্টারে লিবারেল দলের এমপি এবং সামনের এই নির্বাচনের পদপ্রার্থী সালমা জাহিদের সাথে। আশা করি অনুষ্ঠানটি আপনাদের ভালো লেগেছে। এরপরের আরেক অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা অন্য আরেকজন প্রার্থী অথবা বিশ্লেষক নিয়ে আপনাদের সামনে কথা বলবো। সে পর্যন্ত ভালো থাকুন, স্বাস্থ্য সুরক্ষা বজায় রাখুন।